How you doing? This is Brother T. If you want to support the channel, we have t-shirts and other merch right there in the description. Just hit the link.
You were a star child, let your light shine for all the world. When you open your mouth to reveal a pearl, let it shine more, just to like the path. If it don't add up, man, just do the math. If it ain't for you, let it pass on through.
How you doing? This is Terry Wilson, aka your boy Brotha T, here with another one. So we like to call this channel T's Life Tree, and on this channel we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel, you'll get it. Before we get started, I need you to like and subscribe. I really need you to like and subscribe, because when you keep liking and you keep subscribing, or find somebody else in your family to subscribe, I don't care, but the more subscribers we get, we can continue to give you these pine cones of wisdom. Now today is the next in the series of how fill in the blank ruined the relationship. Today, how Tyler Perry ruined the relationship. And I like to say over and over again, when I come up with these are not personal attacks. So I'm not going to personally attack Tyler Perry, but I am going to look at some of his work, and I'm going to show certain patterns that's shown in some of his work. I actually like him. I think he's a talented brother, and he's very necessary, especially for the Black community. It's good to have somebody build their own studio. So this is not hate, right? This is not hate. But we can adjust some of these scripts a little bit, can't we, brother? Let's get into it. All right, so how Tyler Perry ruined the relationship. Now, I mentioned it before on the other episodes that I did like this, that I'm just coming with a different perspective, different worldview. I just want a lot of you out there just to look at life a little bit differently and start seeing some of the things that were perpetuated and pushed in media outlets that helped us have a greater divide between the man and the woman in society. That's all we're talking about today. So let's look at some of the ways Tyler Perry ruined the relationship. All right, so they portray women as victims. And I'm not saying you have a movie where a woman's a victim. Like, of course, it's a good story. People like to see that story, but when you do it over and over again, and it becomes almost laughable at some of the ways you show that, like most, and it took the Boondocks to make fun of you. Now, I know you didn't like it probably, but what they really were saying was the same thing I'm saying, is you making it a pattern. So it's starting to perpetuate, something that's not really necessarily true. If you don't know what I mean, or if you think you disagree with me, go back to my domestic violence episode where I actually put numbers out there, and I showed you that domestic violence is happening a little bit more balanced than we think. Now, guys are more of the perpetrator on the physical side, just by, not by that much. And of course, we can do more damage just because we're physically heavier. Our body, our bone structure is denser. The muscles are on average bigger. There's some big muscle women out there, but it's not the average. You get what I'm saying? But when you have movie after movie where you portray, especially black men, especially darker black men, as the villain, the light-skinned black man is the one that comes in and saves everything, then, man, what are you doing? Like, you can have one movie like that, and then every so-and-so, it would be cool to flip that even. Can you do that? Let's have a little bit more balance. That's all we're saying. What else happened in those movies that ruined the relationship? They portrayed certain types of men as saviors. I just talked about that. When you have the darker guys being the villain almost every time, and then the light-skinned guy being the guy that saved the day, right? Even in one of my favorites, Daddy's Little Girls. I love that movie. I love Idris Elba in that movie. He ended up being the good guy. But what happened during the course of the movie? He was portrayed as the bad guy just because of how he carried himself and how he looked, right? So the same thing happened in that movie. Even though he was the good guy all the way through the movie, all the characters treated him that way. Think about it. All right, so what else happened? You have Tyler Perry, and he admitted that he writes all of his stuff. And he put it out there and bragged on it. And it's cool, and it's very, you're obviously very talented, and it is something to be proud of, I guess. But there's one component that I have a problem with it. You're a man writing from a woman's perspective, and I'm not saying you only have to have women writing on from a women's perspective, but would be nice to have somebody in the room who knows the woman perspective. If you're not a woman, you really don't know the women's perspective. Now you can empathize with the woman's perspective. You can get views on the women's perspective. You can put yourself in their shoes. But if you're not born with that anatomy and you don't go through your whole life being a woman, especially a black woman, then how can you really know what it's like? You can only guess. So when you're writing those scripts, you're only guessing, right? Might be a good guess. And obviously you're on to something because they're popular movies and stuff. But, you know, in doing that, you're not really getting a true 100% fresh perspective. So that can possibly help perpetuate those certain stereotypes, right? And put them out there. And the whole motto to a lot of those films is, hey, you're going to have a fairy tale finish. All you have to do is endure that terrible, abusive, big, bad, and oftentimes black man, boogeyman, right? As long as you get through that and you find your way to that light-skinned brother that looks like Shamar Moore, right? I think he was actually in one of the movies, actually. Boris Kojo and those guys. If you get to one of those guys, you just endure the pain with that dark-skinned brother, and just makes colorism all through there, by the way. And you just endure that and you get to the light-skinned brother and you will have a fairy tale finish. Everything is going to be, I think Rick Fox was in one of them, right? It's the same, it's the same thing, right? And nothing against those brothers, Shamar Moore and Rick Fox, they seem like good brothers, but they were used to perpetuate that, in my opinion, right? So there we go. That's how Tyler Perry movies ruined the relationship. Now, I really like some of the movies. I'm not on a hating spree. I'll name some of the movies I like. I like Daddy's Little Girl. I like How Did I Get Married 1 and 2. I like Good Deeds. I think that was a great movie. I like Acrimony, actually. And we can get on. I can say the same thing about that movie that I've been saying the whole time, but I won't get on that right now. Tyler Perry's Temptation, I thought that was decent. Once again, well, even both of the guys, even the good guy was dark skinned in that one, so I'll give you a pass on that one. So, but the bad guy still was a dark skinned brother too. Interesting, but anyway. So those are his movies that I like. So I'm not just a hater sitting here and just hating on Tyler Perry. No. I'm just saying, let's get to some. A lot of the Medea stuff I don't really rock with it. You know what I mean? Not just because he's being Medea in it. I don't know. It's something so cartoonish about those. I like the more real life ones. You know what I mean? So let me get out of here. This is your man, Brotha T. I enjoyed talking to you today. Now, this is the how the fill in the blank ruined the relationship. I just thought this would be a good series to get people to look at relationships from a wider perspective and understand that the media did have a hand in some of the ways we see each other. Let's see each other for who we really are. Dr. Martin Luther King has a fabulous quote where he talked about the content of your character. That's how you want to be judged. This is your man, Brotha T, and I enjoyed having you here, and I enjoy you spending time with me every time you tune in. I'm going to check you on the next one, family. I'm out of here. Peace.